One of the things we wanted to do was a separate little video here around the process of taking the dogs with us and our first experience of the AHC, the Animal Health Check regulations that have come in post-Brexit. We were really worried about doing this because it is an unknown, and I think the moral for us has been, don't read everything you do on Facebook groups and on the internet. I think follow the sound advice from the .gov website, and I'll put a little link and a little clip of that in for you, but also the advice of your own vet. I can't fault our own vets enough for the support they've given in helping us through and holding our hand in getting us across to France in the first place. So what I thought I'd talk about is a little bit of the process really, and before I take you through step by step, I think the first thing is to think about your trip. As much as you would plan your whole trip away, I think it's as important to plan your whole trip away plus. And what I mean by that is think about the steps you've got to take with your animals before you even get to your travel point. So for us that was the shuttle, it might be the ferry for yourselves. So you have to work backwards. And I think the key thing there was running a little Excel document for us to get the key dates and times in place so that we could get across to Europe before we even took our shuttle. So the first thing we needed to do was make sure we got our rabies jab, and that was done more than 21 days before travel, and that lasts for the whole year. So if we want to travel again later in the summer, we can do. Additionally, we then needed to get the Animal Health Check certificate, and this was done by our vets. We use our local vets in Wellingborough, well-established vets, familiar with travel of not just pets, but because they are a farming community vets as well, they have a lot of dealings with horses and livestock. So that travel for animals across into Europe was not something that fazed them. And I think as well, you hear some horror stories on the internet again about the cost of this AHC. We were quite impressed that the fee from our vet actually was £140 for the two dogs. That was for the single certificate that contains the two dogs on it, which we think was quite reasonable given what I'm seeing some people are paying at other vets and other kind of independent services for doing this. And once you've got those two things in place, your normal vaccinations that your pets would have, but then also your rabies jab, and then your animal health certificate within 10 days of travel, you are pretty much good to go. And further on in this video, I'll explain a little bit about what happened at the tunnel coming out, and what we did to get the animals back by visiting a vet in France. So stay tuned on this little video and find out more about the adventures with these dogs. So for the return journey, we needed to visit a vet in France, and we found a superb vet called Cabinet Vétérinaire in Merville, Franceville Plage, and I'll put in a little clip of where we went for that. And this is where you need to get the tapeworm tablets for your pets for coming back. Now this is where the rules are quite clear, and this is where we had to plan ahead and time for getting those tapeworm jabs done. So these have to be no less than 24 hours before travel and no more than 5 days before travel, and that's absolutely clear in the rules for coming back into the UK. Once you've had the tapeworm tablet, the vet in France then has to complete page 4. Right at the bottom there's a little section of your animal health certificate. Now this has to be completed fully. They check your microchips, they match those to the dogs or the pets that you're travelling with. They then have to use one of the specified drugs that I think you pronounce it quintazil, but it's clear again in the rules from .gov which drugs they need to be, and there are around 10 different medications that contain the drug that allows you to come back into the UK. So they then administer the drugs, and once that's done they will sign it off, and particularly the date and time, because that matters for coming across back into the UK for the 24-hour to a 120-hour rule. But also they need to officially stamp the document as well. So as well as you having your stamps to come out from your vet in the first place, you need the official French vet stamp on that document so that you've got the complete suite of information to return. And once you've got all that, when you arrive at your ferry destination or the Eurotunnel, the shuttle as it's called now, that is what will get checked to allow you to go through and check in for your travel home to the UK. So once we get to Le Shuttle, we'll show you that process, and you'll see what it was like for us coming back. Is it there, look? Is that it? That's it. Yeah. Pet reception. Yeah.
There we go. Yeah. So around this roundabout to the right. Yeah.
Because I think it used to be here, look. So where do we go now? Follow this. Yeah.
Go!
So we've just been into the pet reception, and their words, everything is perfect, we're good to go, we've got our sticker, and we're now going to go and check in.